welcome back to Jocelyn Moon's wonderful world of plastic horses. So today I'm going to be doing a model horse tag. I actually like this one a lot. This is the model horse first tag. I believe it was started by Natalie Stock Horse Addict, and as far as I know it's been adapted by a few different Briar YouTubers, specifically Hunter Schmidt and Briar Trot, as a more like OF centric thing, which I am into, not resins. I'm kind of gonna run with their versions of the questions. Before I start babbling on, let's just get started. So question number one is, what was your first Briar model? So mine is actually two models because they were a set. I got Secession and LaFire. I think that's how you say it. I still don't fully know how to pronounce Secession, whatever, how many years it's been. I got them in 2003, so that's, oh god, that was 15 years ago. Okay. Both of my sisters had Briars, and it was my turn to get a Briar, I guess. I was looking through the shelves and I saw these two, and my wonderful 8-year-old logic was, why should I pay $50 for one horse if I could pay $50 for two horses? So that's literally just why I got Secession and LaFire. And looking back, it was a really good choice for your first Briars, because, I mean, they're not rare by any means, but they're certainly popular and worth a little bit, so woohoo. Question two is, what was your first special run model? And that would be the Just About Horses Copenhagen Saddlebred. With this guy, I had just subscribed to Just About Horses. I saw him in the magazine. I was just like, oh my god, these are so beautiful. Like, at this point, I know nothing about the whole like Briar decorator thing, if that makes sense, like Copenhagen versus Wedgwood and all that fun stuff. I was just like, I want the pretty speckly blue horse. This was actually a gambler's choice in 2005. I convinced my dad to let me get one. I think he might have been a Christmas present, because I'm pretty sure this was like in the fall where they put these out. I actually found the box downstairs a few months later, and being a sneaky little 10-year-old at the time, I was like, I'm gonna peek inside! So I did, and I magically got my speckly blue horse, and I was absolutely in love with him. He was the pride and joy of my collection for a very long time. I think they made 750 of each color. So, question number three is, what was your first Grail? As you guys know, my definition of Grail is very different from a lot of other people. Basically, put it short, for me, a Holy Grail is a horse that I am almost positive I am never going to own. So for me, that was Burbank, and yet somehow I ended up with a Burbank. I'm pretty sure I've told the story behind him before. I'm gonna do a very short version. Velvet Rope event. I'm way too young to go, I'm like 12 or something, and I see Burbank and I'm like, oh my god, I need that horse in my life, because I was super in love with Dakota at this point. Go to Briarfest, I see a Burbank, I think he was like $600 or something in someone's room. Was he $350 or was he $600? I forget. But basically, way too much money for a 13-year-old. So the next day, we go do the Ninja Pit of Death, and back in the day, you could actually show up to the Ninja Pit of Death at 7 o'clock in the morning, the day of, get in with the first group, and there was actually good stuff cheap, believe it or not. So basically, there was a big box of Burbanks, and I got him for $60. So that was basically like the highlight of my Briarfest, and honestly, one of the biggest highlights of any Briarfest I have ever been to. And you will never pry him from my cold, dead hands. Question number four is, what is the first model you spent over $100 on? And I actually couldn't think of this off the top of my head, so I had to go through all my records to figure out who actually was the first horse that I spent over $100 on. And I had a feeling it was this one, but I just wanted to be sure, and it was Moon Warrior. Back when I resubscribed to Ja in 2008, when I was getting back into the hobby, I saw Moon Warrior, and as I said, I was like already super in love with the Dakota mold, and I was just like, ooh, I need that pony in my life. I sent in, didn't get picked, but a friend of a friend actually did get picked for one. She wasn't super adamant on selling him, but I put together all of my allowance money and leftover birthday, Christmas money or whatever. She did eventually give in and sell him to me for, I believe, $250, which was pretty good price for him at the time, and it's a really good price for him now, so no regrets. Question number five is the first model you bought on a sales page. So this I legitimately could not remember because it was so long ago. This would have been about 2009. Luckily, I really have never deleted any of my MHSP emails, so I just did a quick search. And it turns out that the very first horse I ever bought on a sales page was this Mini Winnie's Zipper Pull. So she's from, is this she or he? I forget. Oh. excuse me, he's a he. I bought him when I was really like knee deep in my mini winnies phase. I think these were given out as some sort of freebie at Briar Fest 2007. According to the emails, I paid $6 for him. Question number 6 is the first model horse show you entered, and this is really terrifying to think about, but it was Frolic into Fall Live 2008 in September 2008, which means that was a decade ago. Oh my god. It was a novice show, and the show holder is still a friend of mine today. She was a huge influence in kind of just getting me up and coming, showing me the ropes, and I'm super thankful for that still to this day. It was a great show. It wasn't very big. I think I brought like 13 horses with me, and this is another story I've told a million times, but this girl was an afterthought that I threw in my show bin, and she ended up winning grand champion of the show, so that definitely helped hook me in when you get grand champion of your very first show. Question 7 is the first conga you started or completed. The only conga I ever completed at any point was my Creedowsas and my Marwaris, but those obviously aren't complete anymore, and I really don't care at this point. That's for another video for another day. I believe, now that I think about it, I know it was either Nakota or Othello. I'm pretty sure it was Nakota though, because the Blue Round Nakota was one of the first models I bought when I got back into it, and I was really in love with him, and I remember dying for Cheveo that year. I got him for my birthday in October, so I'm pretty sure it was Nakota. Number 8 is the first regret you made. How am I supposed to remember this? It was probably something at Briar Fest that I didn't buy. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. As far as recent stuff, there's definitely stuff I wish I hadn't sold. Like now that Copper Fox has gone under, I sold a few of them, and I would like them back now. My first one, I don't got a clue. Number 9 is first model horse brand you started collecting. Briars or nothing, baby. And finally, question 10 is what was the first model that started it all? We're back to square one. So obviously, as I've been out of the game for a while, I don't really know how many people have actually done this tag or not. As I said, I find it very fun and interesting. It's a cute little sort of quick rundown on how you got started in the hobby, but if you're an old fart like me, sometimes it's difficult to remember exactly what those things were. Anyways, thanks for joining me today on this edition of the Model Horse First Tag.